Hey guys, so I am back with another Profusion palette. Yes, I am a little bit of a sucker for these Profusion palettes, but the other day I was at Walgreens and I stumbled upon a display of some Profusion items that I had never seen before. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen Profusion sold in a Walgreens, so I was really surprised to see them there. But they have these new sort of outer space themed sets out, and I ended up picking up the Beam It Up kit for $7. It came with a palette and an eyeliner, and it was completely taped shut, so I wasn't able to like open it up or see exactly what they looked like, but it did have a little picture on the back of what I was getting. And they had another palette there that I think was a 9-pan like square palette that had very similar looking colors, but obviously a few more because this is a 6-pan. I ended up going with this one because the colors just looked a little bit more unique. I especially was into this kind of lime green chartreuse sort of color, and the fact that it had a silver in it was really drawing me in. And I was also very interested in the neon liner that it said it came with because I was hoping it would be one of their neon liquid liners. They have some of those as part of like their permanent line, and I've been wanting to try those for a while. But the packaging didn't indicate what color the liner was, what type of liner it was. For some reason I was thinking it was going to be a liquid liner, but we'll get to that in a second. But I'm not sure if this is like their holiday collection, if this is a Walgreens exclusive. It also seems like this is another case, just like with the pastel one that I did a video on a couple months ago, where it was in stores before it had officially launched, because I haven't seen anything about this on Profusion's Instagram. But I did Google it, and it looks like some people have also been able to get their hands on it, seemingly just from Walgreens. So again, not really sure what that's about. Maybe they will be like formally launching this soon, but check your Walgreens if you're interested in some outer space themed Profusion products. So inside the box, you're getting this palette. It is triangular, which I do really like. I kind of like the sort of unique shape of this, and that liner. The palette is fairly small. I mean, here's my hand, here's the palette, and I actually really like that it is made of cardboard rather than plastic. I feel like the plastic packaging that Profusion normally uses for their palettes is kind of cheap, and honestly I kind of just prefer cardboard these days because it's just less plastic being put out into the world. And there's also no mirror in here, which I also don't mind because I have a million mirrors in other products and I use a mirror to get ready every day. So, and that's also kind of less waste as well. It does have a magnetic closure. And here is a close-up of what those shadows look like. Kind of an interesting group of shades. There are 2 shimmers, the silver and that beautiful royal blue, and then 4 mattes. And those are true mattes. They aren't mattes with like glitter mixed in. And then the eyeliner, I was a little disappointed when I took it out of the packaging and opened it up. So it is a retractable pencil liner, and on the box it says Beam It Up Kit Neon Liner and 6-shade palette. So I was definitely expecting it to be neon, some neon color. For some reason I was sort of guessing it would be this kind of neon green color, but I'll just show you the color. That's the color. So it basically matches the kind of purple of the outer packaging. It's sort of just this like bluish purpley grape color kind of. And you know, it's not a bad color, just honestly not a color I would have chosen, and it just seems so hilarious to me that they call this a neon. Like this is the furthest thing from a neon, right? You know, it looks like you get a pretty decent amount of product in there. Now, this feels very, very waxy. Very waxy, and it goes on kind of sheer as well. You can kind of see I've drawn it onto my hand there, and it's very like translucent, you know, like it's not an opaque color. So a little disappointed by the liner. I am wearing that today, and in just a minute here we're going to get into 2 looks with the palette. This was the second look, and I did use this liner with this look. Was not at all impressed. You can basically just like rub it off with your finger. Like this has been on my hand for a little while now, and I mean, look at this. I can just smear it right off. So, you know, probably not going to be the longest wearing liner ever. I feel like, to me, this is just a little bit of a dud. Like I'd almost just wish they would have sold the palette on its own for $5 or even $7, honestly, and just left out the extra pencil. Let's get into some swatches here. So you can see I just kind of swirled my finger in each one and did like a one swipe swatch with each one, so I didn't try to build them up at all. And the swatches do not look impressive at all. The blue, the green, and the silver look decent, but like that kind of rusty reddish orange, the purple, and the light blue they really don't look very impressive at all when I swatch them. On my eyes though, I actually was very pleasantly surprised by how well they performed. So let's go ahead and get into those two looks now. Alright, so for this first look, I'm picking up this matte lighter blue shade on a crease brush from Eco Tools and just buffing this all throughout my crease, just laying this down as my transition color. Then I'm taking my NYX glitter primer and I'm only putting it on my left eye because I want to test it to see how much of a difference this makes with this particular palette. I actually ended up kind of regretting this later because I also used a matte shade on my lid and it just kind of messed up the blend, but what can you do? So then I'm picking up some of this deeper blue on a shader brush from BK Beauty and packing this pretty much in the outer 2/3 of my lid. And this is the side without the NYX glitter primer here. And I feel like I was able to get really good color payoff even without the NYX glitter primer. By the way though, I did already prime both of my lids with a regular eyeshadow primer. I believe I used the Urban Decay primer potion here. Then I'm also packing it on the other eye. This is the one with the NYX glitter primer. And honestly, I feel like the color payoff is pretty much just as good. I maybe was able to build it up a little bit faster on this eye, but I didn't really notice much of a difference at all, honestly. So I feel like the NYX glitter primer was totally an optional step. Then I'm picking up some of this matte lime green chartreuse color on an E.L.F. shader brush and packing that on that inner third of my lid that I left blank. And you can see this is why the NYX glitter primer, it's really not meant to be used underneath mattes, so this is where I was kind of regretting using that glitter primer here. Because I had a little bit of trouble with the blend between the matte green and the deep blue. So I spent a lot of time kind of going back and forth blending out that edge there. But that was kind of my fault, I think. Then I'm taking some of the silver and using that as my inner corner highlight. Then I also took that up a little bit kind of into my crease to add a little bit of brightness there. Then I took some of the dark blue on the lower lash line, kind of the outer half of the lower lash line. And then I blended that out with the lime green on the lower lash line. Then I finished off the look with some black liquid liner and mascara. And for my lip, I used a mix of the Urban Decay lip liner pencil in Manic and the E.L.F. Seriously Satin Lipstick in Cream kind of on the center, and then I topped all of that with the E.L.F. lip lacquer in Fantasy. That is look number one. I really like how this look turned out. Very fun and vibrant. I'm not really happy with how my left eye turned out, or your right. So just look at the other eye, the non-NYX glitter primer side, because that side turned out way better. Alright, so now for look number two, I started out the look with that matte kind of magenta color with a crease brush from BK Beauty, and I'm just buffing that into my crease. Same as I did with the light blue in the last look, just laying this down as a transition color. Then I'm taking some of that rusty red color on a more of like a detail brush from BK Beauty, and I'm just carving out my outer corner with this color. And I was really impressed with the color payoff of both this and that pink color. Then again, I wanted to do the same kind of experiment with the NYX glitter primer. I only applied this to my left eye, your right, and because I'm going to be using the silver for this look, and I just wanted to see, again, what kind of difference this makes for the look. Then I'm grabbing some of that silver on a shader brush from E.L.F. and just packing that all over both lids. First, the side without the NYX glitter primer, and again, I have already primed my eyelids with a regular primer too, before I even started this look. Felt like I already got really good color payoff on that side, and then next for the side with the NYX glitter primer, honestly, it doesn't look much different from the other side, so that tells me this is a good performing shimmer shade. Then I'm taking a little bit more of that red just to kind of bring that back because I felt like it got a little buried by the silver. Then also taking some of that same red color on my lower lash line, and then a little bit of the magenta on the lower lash line as well to kind of blend it out. And then I added some more of that silver to my inner corner. Then let's try out this weird quote-unquote neon eyeliner. I'm just smudging it across my lower lash line, and I wanted to create a little bit of a wing, so I tried to pick some of it up on an angled brush, but I could not get it to really show up that way. So then I just went straight in with the pencil to try and wing it out, but then of course that wasn't as precise as I wanted it. Then I had to kind of like sharpen up the wing with like my fingernail, but luckily I was able to easily just remove the product with my fingernail fairly easily, which I feel like is not standard for most eyeliners and probably not a great quality in an eyeliner, but yeah, I really wasn't impressed with this at all. And finished off the look with some mascara. I'm using the Ilia Fullest Volumizing Mascara, and I didn't film it, but for my lip I'm just wearing the ColourPop lip gloss in Champagne Mommy. And that is look number 2. I don't think I'd ever worn a combination of like silver and red and pink before, but I thought this was kind of a fun, different look. What do you guys think of those 2 looks? I will go ahead and say I was very pleasantly surprised and impressed by how well the shadows actually performed on my eyes versus the way that they looked in swatches. Because as soon as I got home and swatched them out on my hand, I was like, oh man, I'm going to regret buying this. Like, this totally seems like what I should have expected based on my experience with the Spectrum palette in the past. But these performed on my eyes much, much better than Spectrum. As you saw in those 2 looks, I didn't even use like my white base, my NYX Jumbo pencil. I didn't use that. I wanted to give it a try like just on its own. I did use an eyelid primer. In both looks I used the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and in both looks I used my NYX glitter primer just on one side just to kind of see what the difference was. But with both looks I felt like the glitter primer was totally optional. Like today I have the glitter primer on this side and none on this side. I feel like both look pretty much the same. I'm impressed. I'm actually impressed, and I'm surprised that I'm saying that because I didn't expect much from this, especially based on my experience with past Profusion colorful shadows. Yeah, initial thoughts after doing those 2 looks and after using all of the shades on my eyes. I actually think this is a cute little palette, and I'm glad I bought it. I think it's adorable. I love that there's a silver in there. I love that royal blue, and I love the chartreuse. That shade right there is honestly one of the main reasons I bought this palette. I actually really like lime green eyeshadows, and I've been kind of on the hunt for a good chartreuse eyeshadow, and this one is just so cute. I feel like it performs well. Yeah, I feel like all of the shades work well, you know? I don't have to layer my NYX Jumbo pencil in milk underneath, and I feel like it's just kind of a strange yet fun selection of shades. I probably never would have come up with this particular color combination on my own, but I think it's a really fun little palette if you're into colorful eyeshadow. The eyeliner is a piece of crap, I'll just tell you right now. You can see, you know, I'm wearing it today. It's a very waxy formula. It doesn't go on very opaque. I really had to like build it up there. I imagine if you were to like rub your eyes, or if your eyes were watering or you were sweating outside, this would probably not stay on through that. So I think this is a dud. I wish they would have just not even included this at all. Not to mention, I feel like the color just doesn't even go that well with these eyeshadows. I feel like that was just kind of something they threw in there to make it a kit, when honestly I would have just bought this palette on its own. How does this compare to the 10 pans from Profusion? So I've now tried 3 of their 10 pans. I've tried Spectrum, Pastel, and Mauves. Spectrum was not great for me. It was okay, but I ended up decluttering it because so many of those shades you couldn't get them to show up on your eyes. You had to like really build them, and they would often kind of blend away. The pastel palette I like a little bit more than Spectrum, but I have to layer that over my NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk, and those you really gotta kind of work to build them up. And I do notice that sometimes they do kind of blend away if you blend them too much, which is also just kind of an issue with pastels in general. With this palette though, I didn't have any issues with them blending away. I found them very blendable, very buildable, and even the shadows that swatched really poorly, like that lighter blue there, I didn't have any issues applying that to my eyes when I used it as a crease color. I felt like it showed up very well on my eyes. So I feel like this is just one of those cases where the swatches don't really give you that much information about how these are going to work on your eyes. And I'm actually so impressed that I feel like the NYX Glitter Primer and the Jumbo Pencil are totally optional. Is it worth $7 for the set? Honestly, I think so. I think this palette is worth $7, even with this crappy liner. So I'm curious, have any of you guys picked this up recently? If so, what did you think of it? Or have you picked up the other like 9-pan palette that they have kind of in this collection? I'd love to hear any thoughts on that if any of you have tried that one too. But just wanted to throw this quick little video out there. I hope you enjoyed it. If you spot this at the store and you're wondering how it is, hopefully this helped you out. But yeah, I'm gonna be enjoying this little guy. And I honestly love the packaging. I love the triangle, and it's very small and compact, so it just fits very well in my drawer. Very lightweight. I feel like this would be great for travel. I'm very happy with this. I hope you guys enjoyed this and found it helpful. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you have not already. And hopefully I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye.